But does that mean that he can then use the extra chair and like lay out?
I know, right? It's been one of those weekends and days that I can use it.
I have a 12-year-old hanging out with me for 10 days. I know all about needing naps now. Not for her, for me.
We are raising my 4-year-old, still running my business.
Okay.
Oh my
doing all of
gosh,
this.
that's a lot of work. I noticed you did new paneling on your house.
Yeah,
It looks really nice.
Thank you.
You look
Yeah.
good.
I've been doing that, and then
Right?
today I've been working on other, well, obviously I work on other
Yep,
people's.
yep.
Well, of
homes.
course.
And
Well
then I
done.
built it.
I mean, you only get to do your stuff when you have a little extra time,
Yeah.
which is like when?
Yeah.
But
And this
I
year was,
noticed when I turned the corner the other day, I was like, oh wow, look at how nice that looks. So
it
good job.
was, thank you. It was nice, and I got it done before I went on vacation, but I also built my great big giant chicken coop next to the house.
Oh,
not too
cool.
So I was doing that, and then all of a sudden now business has just gone crazy since I got back from up north, and I'm like, oh. And then
But that's a good problem to have.
it's a good problem. Yes. It's just,
Very much so.
and now all the back to school stuff.
And that's what Piper and I have been doing, is shopping for after school, for back to school stuff, because her parents are having on their honeymoon in Hawaii. And they got married during COVID.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, where in the world do you find shirts for 12-year-old girls? Everything is crop tops. I'm not gonna put that on a 12-year-old.
My wife buys everything on Amazon, TV, all that.
But she needs to try stuff on because she's really skinny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we did that, and then I had a softball tournament all weekend. And then we decided, you know, it was a perfect time to get a new puppy on Friday. She was out of town. So we've been dealing with a new pup on top of everything.
Oh, how fun.
Actually, they were giving away free sandwiches, but I had to leave those. It was a fun little lunch break.
That's very
So
cool.
different.
Yeah. I think she's racing sausage.
I think so.
My favorite is chicken salsa.
At the end of the day, one thing that we do have to do is the meeting from the workshop. I noticed,
Hey, Jen, when they go to executive session, can you explain this to me?
so we talked about that.
They've got 2 more resignations I need to vote on.
That's right.
It was in the packet.
Or you can just say, yeah,
I don't know, but I would assume they have to.
I was
go to
even
closed
more
session, talk about it at the
glad
end.
it wasn't because I was public comment.
Unless they already discussed it.
Thank you.
I didn't think I saw it either.
And about this time, I was double fishing.
all right.
We were in Maryville, Roger Marathon.
Didn't she just start? Didn't you just hear from her maybe not too long ago? Like June?
I feel like she's still been meeting behind us because I want to see this June. I'm not trying to make a line.
Good evening. Welcome to the Raymond School District number 14, August 24th, regular school board meeting.
I guess 19.
Did I say August 2024?
Yeah,
You went the 19th in there?
I think so, 24.
No, August 2024,
Got it.
regular school
My
board.
days are all blending together at this point, so.
Okay, August 19th, 2024 meeting. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. This meeting is now called to order. It is 6:31. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kelly, will you do roll call attendance, please?
Mike Powers,
Here.
Patty Wren,
Here.
Ed Robinson,
Here.
Audrey Kostich,
Here.
Janelle Wise.
She is at,
Verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
yes, the meeting was posted in all the usual places.
Okay, thank you. We move to approve the agenda of this meeting. Do we have a motion to approve agenda?
So moved. I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We move to the consent agenda. Do you want us to do this in each?
Yeah,
Board
you can approve
meeting?
each individual.
Okay. We need approval of regular meeting minutes from 7/29/24, July's regular board meeting.
I move to approve the regular meeting of the minutes for 7/29/24, regular board meeting.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from July 29/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we move to the approval of closed session meeting minutes from 7/29/24.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the closed session meeting minutes from 7/29/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we move to the approval of the workshop minutes from 8/5/24.
We need to amend that. I was not present at the meeting, and in the minutes it says that I was present, so we need to adjust that.
I have the minutes in front of me.
So you approve the revisions.
Yeah, so I wasn't there, so I
Okay,
wasn't.
but you can't.
Yeah.
Do we want,
Someone's got to approve with revisions, and it can't be him because he wasn't there.
okay.
So I approve the workshop minutes with the exception that Mike Powers was not in attendance.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the workshop revised minutes from 8/5/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We move to business and finance, the financial report, and we'll start with the treasurer's report.
So the beginning balance was $1,045,343.71. Accounts payable, $270,923.37. Receipts, $88,803.49. Payroll disbursements, $213,753.80. No journal entries, which leaves us an ending balance of $649,470.03. For vouchers and payrolls for approval, please see the minutes of the meeting. Or the agenda, I should say.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Is there a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Seconded?
A motion and a second to approve the financial report as stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we move to the public portion of the meeting. Patty, will you?
Just want to say their names, right? They'll come up. First one is Jennifer Hansen.
During the June 17th regular board meeting, Mr. Ed Robinson made a comment during the discussion of the motion to approve the referendum language to the effect that if we pass this referendum for $750,000, that we'll be able to set aside some in the fund balance for an emergency. This was confirmed by the superintendent at the time, who confirmed that if the referendum passes, there will be about $300,000 left to put into fund balance for emergencies. The budget that has been published in anticipation of the annual meeting tells a very different story. The published budget indicates that there will be a $750,000 deficit. Kind of seems convenient once I layer a potential past referendum that the proposed budget utilizes every cent of that $750,000 without adding any to the fund balance. The published budget in the West Teen includes a very concerning reduction of close to $400,000 less that will be spent on instruction of the students of Raymond this school year. Has the board forgotten the purpose for which a school exists? Educating the students. I'm becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the financial decisions the board is making, and I cannot support a referendum with this lack of trust and transparency. What happened to the trust fund loan of $300,000? Did it just evaporate? Please make this statement part of the written minutes of today's meeting. And I have a copy here for you. Thank you.
Kelly Duprat.
A couple of weeks ago, my 8th grader, who has attended Raymond School since he was a tiny 4K'er, loves to learn, loves to go to school, said to me his words, "This year is going to suck." He was upset about the recent resignation of a beloved veteran Raymond School teacher. I took this opportunity to tell my son that he may very well like the new teacher. They may be different, but I'm sure they have a lot to offer. He just needs to give this change some time. However, his perspective is legitimate. I imagine that a large majority of our middle school students here at Raymond share similar apprehensions and complex feelings. When our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders begin this school year, there will be only one teacher out of the 6 core subject area middle school teachers who is not a new hire. Since school dismissed for summer break this past June, due to a teacher turnover and staffing shifts that have resulted from this turnover, our middle school is rather unrecognizable. Pretty much every teacher who our 7th and 8th graders have formed key relationships with over the past few years and who our 6th graders have been looking forward to working with has been replaced or moved into different roles. Everything these students thought they knew about the structure of their day and the expectations that they understood from these teachers has been turned upside down. I can see where my 8th grader is convinced that this year is going to suck. As a parent and a community member, I'm concerned for him and for all of our students here at Raymond. Easily 1/3 of the staff at Raymond School has turned over since the summer of 2023. In 1 year, Raymond School has seen staff from various positions within this building walk out the door. A staff turnover this considerable and within this time frame is unfathomable. What has pushed these competent, qualified, and dedicated staff members to leave? This is deeply concerning. Something is terribly wrong. Unfortunately, the ones who this loss will impact the most is our children. At this point, I'm at such a loss over this that I feel I can only put words out there and have some faith that they are heard. I hope that our leadership works to understand the causes of this massive turnover. I hope that this loss of established, respected, and veteran staff ceases. And lastly, I pray that our students successfully navigate this school year, given all the challenges it presents. Okay, thank you.
With that, we will move to old business, and we have none, so we move to new business. And first up is approval of board policy volumes 32, number 1, 32, number 2, and 33, number 1. Mike, I'm going to turn this over to you since you were the policy committee. That's quite a heap of policies.
Yep. Actually use this for once. We're gonna read through the volume 32, number 1 from 1 of 23. Policy 100 is definitions. Policy 0175, association of memberships. Policy 2210, curriculum development. Policy 2220, adoption of course study. Policy 2221, special days, special observance days. Policy 2430, district-sponsored clubs and activities. Policy 3215 and 4215, use of tobacco and nicotine by professionals and support staff. Policy 5200, attendance. Policy 5250, program of curriculum modifications. Policy 5330, administration of medication emergency care. Policy 5340, student accidents, illness, concussion, and sudden cardiac arrest. Policy 5410, promotion, placement, and retention. Policy 5512, use of tobacco and nicotine by students. Policy 5517, student anti-harassment. Policy 5770, search and seizure.
5771.
Which one did I say?
71.
Yeah, 71. Policy 7534, facility security. Policy 7544, use of social media. Policy 8405, environmental health and safety program. Policy 4420.1.
8420.
Did I say 24?
84.
Jeez. 8420.01, epidemics and pandemics. Policy 8600, transportation. Policy 8800, religious activities and observances. And policy 8802, patriotic observances. All the numbers in my head today, they're all mixing together.
So the first volume for.
Right, and volume 32, volume 2 isn't much shorter.
Yes.
Policy 01, which is volume 32, number 2, of 6 of 23. Policy 0122, board powers. Policy 0144.5, board members, behavior, communications, and code of conduct. Policy 0151.2, requires student academic standards agenda item. Policy 0166, agenda. Policy 0171.1, president. Policy 2261.03, district and school report card. Policy 2416, student privacy and parental access to information. Policy 3161 and 4161, unrequested leaves of absence and fitness for duty. Policy 3281 and 4281, personal property of staff members. Policy 4120, employment of staff, support staff. Policy 4220, evaluation of support staff. Policy 5335, care of students and chronic health conditions. Policy 5341, emergency medical authorization. Policy 5451, student recognition. Policy 5500, student code of classroom conduct. Policy 5517.01, bullying. Policy 6146, post-insurance tax exempt bond compliance. Policy 6152, student fees, fines, and charges. Policy 6325, procurement, federal grants and funds. Policy 6424, purchasing cards. Policy 7441, faculty security, or facility security. Policy.
7440, Mike.
7440.
Gee, I am just getting these numbers all well.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, I've been doing lots of reading right now. Policy 7540.04, staff technology, acceptable use and safety. Policy 8220, school day, school closure. Policy 8450, control of casual contact communicable diseases. Policy 8740, protection of district funds. Policy 9700, relations with non-school affiliated groups. And policy 9700.01, advertising and commercial activities. And then from volume 33, number 1, from 12 of 23, policy 10171.4, treasurer, policy 1211, 3211, and 4211, whistleblower protection, and policy 2210, curriculum development, and policy 8442, reporting accidents. These are all just technical adjustments. It's just rewording a word here or there just to make it more up to date. That's all these are policies are doing.
So I trust that the board members have read through the Neola Board Policy Technical Corrections. And it's true, it's just changing a word here or there. No
Public
major,
participation,
no
public
major policy
commitment.
changes.
Typically, we don't anticipate this volume, but we were behind from, you saw January and then June and then December of '23, so that's a large body of work that is not typical, but normally the cadence would be twice a year that we'd have reads, and so we'll have another read in October with the next batch, so,
This is just getting us well caught up.
yes.
So do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the board policy volumes 32-1, 32-2, and 33-1, and all policies therein.
I'll second.
So we have a motion to approve the Neola Board Policy Technical Corrections from volumes 32-1 and 2, and volume 33-1, as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we move to resignations.
Yes, we have two resignations that occurred in the last couple of weeks. We have a resignation of Mr. Weiss, a longtime 7th and 8th grade science teacher, and we had Miss Nuck, the health room aide position in the office that resigned last week. So those are the two resignations. I am having exit conferences with everyone who has left since I started July 1st. And if other people have left before I was here, I've even reached out to some of them to say, hey, you're welcome to come and talk with me about the reasoning and rationale for what your choice was to move on. And obviously, we wish both these individuals the best in their upcoming endeavors, as it were.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the resignations of Andrew Weiss and Teresa Nutt with the thanks and gratitude for their service to Raymond School District and their families.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resignations of Andrew Weiss and Teresa Nook. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on to new hires.
We've been busy trying to get things ready for the fall, and it's been really nice to have an outstanding pool of candidates for the positions we've posted. The market is not always bearing the best fruit, so obviously this time of year is challenging just with it being August, but The team has been very optimistic in what we've been able to do to fill the positions here we have at Raymond. So we have 2 recommendations tonight. One for the vacated science position that was just mentioned. So we are recommending Callie Michaelekchuk. I think I said that right? Michaelekchuk? I've practiced that a lot. Callie is a longtime, she's a student from Raymond, Raymond family. She lives in Raymond herself. And this is her words, this is her dream job. So we're very excited to be able to bring her on board for this. She brings, gosh, must have been, what, 10 years of experience from Kenosha Unified School District. So certainly a good addition to the team. Big shoes to fill, but we're certainly excited about what she has to offer. And then we just made an offer today, which was accepted for our health room aide, and that's Lindsay Capone.
She says
Capone. I'm getting better with names, so Lindsay has worked here, last year she worked here in our lunchroom as a supervisor and has a background in nursing, so we're excited to have her on in the role of school health room aide, which is a part-time position. So looking for the board's approval of those 2 new hires.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve extending a contract to science teacher Kelly Michaelajczyk and school health aide Lindsay Capone for the 24-25 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Are we full now, fully staffed? Back to
We are not officially full yet. We are still looking for a kindergarten K-4 aide, paraprofessional. So we are looking to have that staffed by the end of the week. Obviously, we'd like them yesterday, but we're making sure we have a process for hiring, and we're confident we'll be able to find someone for the position. So another part-time opportunity. So if you know anyone, please spread the word. K-4 kids are cute. So there's something, yes. I have a 4-year-old myself, for the record. All right.
All right, we
That's right. People are looking at me saying, he has a 4-year-old? Yes, I do.
We move on to review and approval of updated student handbook.
Yes, wanted to create a little context around this. So being new, first thing I look for is what's in the various handbooks. And student handbooks are a big topic this time of year as people are enrolling in our schools and have questions about how we do things. So we noticed that we had some just modifications and edits that were needed for our book. And so Ms. Brockman, in her new leadership role, stepped into, along with our leadership team, to peruse the confines of that book and make sure it's accurate and represents what it is that we do, if and when we need to refer to the handbook. Let's be honest, most people don't refer to it unless they need it. So it is cleaned up, and the board has received a draft of the newest handbook. No earth-shattering changes, mostly just surface changes of names and positions or phone numbers, things like that. So it's updated and current, so it will obviously, once upon approval, would be posted to the website and provided to our families should they want the easy reading material. So makes for good coffee table banter. So that's what we're looking for from the handbook. Ms. Brockman, anything you wanted to add? Again, it's a reference point that we use if and when we need to. It's something that you don't usually open up the school year with. Hey, welcome back to school. Here's the handbook. Usually kids don't really respond well to that. So we'll use it as needed.
Are the handbooks given out at the student orientation?
Handbooks are made available. We don't usually print packets of it. It's digital is probably the best way to handle it because it's got some size.
Oh, we used to always have to sign them.
There's a page, and sometimes the staff will review it with kids too, so they may, given their individual teachers, they may review it. I can't speak to what all the teachers do, but typically there's a signature involved, like we understand. We try to discuss and build things in. If you want to talk about that, because you've been here a little while longer than me.
They are also part of the registration process.
That's
So
right.
now it's all digital, so when you're registering through Skyward, there's a student handbook part that is signed.
Yep, that's what it was back then too.
Right. My speech with my own children and then their handbook is, there's a handbook here. If I need to use it, you're in trouble at home. That's usually how the Leaches discuss that in our household. But we do talk about it. I think the biggest piece is, as a family, discussing the expectations at home is really important. It helps us a lot here at school. So we certainly make it available to those that would like it. and, like I said, easy reading, so.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. We've had a lot of reading to do for this board meeting to make all of these motions. So is there a motion to approve the 2024-2025 student handbook with the updates?
I am moved to approve the 24-25 student handbook with the updates as made.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2024-2025 student handbook with updates. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we move to review and the approval of updated crisis manual. And Vicki, give us a little background on that.
Yes, absolutely. Again, another piece of reading that you ask for when you come to an organization is how do they handle things should they arise? And we noticed some needs with our crisis planning around here. And so I think, with turnover and change comes sometimes outdated materials. So we did some pretty massive overhaul, meaning met with local law enforcement, both sheriffs and local, and as well as with other districts in our area, Union Grove Elementary, Yorkville, and the like. So the reality is we had some room to improve, and Ms. Brockman and our leadership team tackled the concept of what do we do if and when, God forbid, something happens where we need to work through a manual. And then, of course, there's a manual, which is very, very long. I think ours is, 130 pages. Again, easy reading. I don't like those kind of read-alouds for the record. I do like other read-alouds with my 4-year-old, but the reality is that crisis manual has a lot of really important details for staff and for families to understand if and when we need to go to use those resources. Again, God forbid, we have a plan and we can execute the plan most importantly. So we reviewed the crisis manual and then checked it to all those various groups. We're very willing and very able to help. And then Ms. Brockman will also speak to in her report a little bit to some of the process and things we did along the way for that plan. So what you see tonight, what the board has gotten submitted to them, and then resubmitted with an even cleaner draft, because every time you read it, you find typos. But the reality is we have a clean draft of the crisis plan, and we're looking for approval of that.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the Raymond School Crisis Response Plan?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Raymond School Crisis Response Plan for the 2024-25 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move to committee reports.
It's really just an update from me putting it out there that in September, we're going to be having our first true walk-around once the building is tip-top ready for kids, having our facilities committee get together. Obviously, when we hold a committee meeting, it's open, so if people want to come to it and be a part of the discussions about facilities, we would encourage you to do so, because this building, it needs some tender love and care, as many do, and so we want to make sure we get that list working, so we can continue within our budget, albeit with some constraints, but the reality is we have some things that we have to prioritize in the event that we need to fix something. So that facilities planning is going to be happening in September, and then the Neola policy updates, as I mentioned before, will occur in October. There will be a session, another committee meeting that is, again, an open meeting, so you're welcome to come and listen to some very riveting conversation around policy. And that'll happen in October to get us onto a cadence that's a little more normalized.
Have dates been set for either one of these?
We have not set dates yet. Once the school year gets rolling, we'll set those, but more than likely it would be somewhere around the board meeting date based on board availability.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Next, we move to administrative reports, and we'll start with Mr. Leach.
There you go. I'm just going to keep rolling. So I've been busy. Our team is alive and well and working hard. Today was the first field work of 3 days of field work with our auditors. As you know, last month we hired Lucida a company locally here that does a great job with audits. They had shared with me that they picked up quite a few accounts from the recent vendor we were using, Schumacher Sama, had dropped all their school auditing services, including local districts that used them that I was surprised used them and also lost their services. So we shared some insights around that. They kind of explained a little bit of why, and I think it goes back to just the accounting expectations of the Department of Public Instruction have changed and caused some of the auditors to say, this is a lot, and those that stayed in the game, when we saw an uptick in cost, that was part of the reason for the uptick in cost is because the expectations of PPI had changed, causing more man hours to be needed for an audit. And so now you've got a larger cost for that as well, which is always lovely in this time of inflation. So that's the audit we've been working through, which I appreciate. Patty's been working really hard to make sure they have all the information they need. They'll be looking at a variety of areas to help us both work on efficiencies as well as identify some areas that we want to make sure we improve upon in our budgeting process and finances. So that's going on right now. We are staffing, as I mentioned before, having regular leadership meetings. I've just rounded up with almost everybody on staff that will listen to me talk with them about just getting to know them as people. I'm really excited about the year. I can tell you that the staff hires we've made are, I know it's hard to replace the personalities who are here, but they're outstanding people. And I know, I can tell you that our goal is to not have a crappy year. It's to be the best we can for kids and develop those relationships as strongly as we can. Because when we hire people, they bring in positivity, energy, and desire to make Raymond great. And many, many people got in line, applied, and said, I want to be part of your school and your district. So it was exciting to hear their perspectives as they came in. Some are local, some are veteran, some are rookie, so a good variety. They're all showing up tomorrow. They'll be wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, tired, but they'll be meeting tomorrow, and then we roll into the school year on Wednesday with our faculty coming back in full force on Wednesday, and I'm really looking forward to having everybody in the house to kick off the school year. So it's been great. I appreciate people in this room that have come in to talk with me. I have an open door. You want to talk about whatever it is, please don't hesitate. I don't take offense at this point. You know, getting better is my goal. So getting Raymond to be better is my goal. That's why I was hired. So I'm excited about what the year's about to offer. So that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next, we move to the coordinator of curriculum report. Dana?
Okay, so I wanted to, I spoke last March at the board meeting to let the board know about the implications of that Act 20 legislation, which is also called the Right to Read. And most of that really kicks into gear this year. So I want to comment on 4 different items. For training, we have 5 staff members that are fully trained according to the requirement. We will be completing the rest, 7 additional teachers, plus myself, beginning in December.
Just use your teacher voice, it'll be okay.
Okay, beginning in December and to be completed before the end of the school year. The requirement is all teachers K through 3 must start by July. So we plan to be all done before that. As far as testing goes, the state has selected Ames Web as the state screener, and we have selected FastBridge as our diagnostic tool, as well as our screener for math and our older students. We put together a testing plan, and teachers will have training beginning with our PD, starting next week, I think our training is. So we have a plan fully in place about how that's going to roll out. We feel really good about that. Curriculum, we are implementing a program referred to as UFly, which is the University of Florida Literacy Institute's systematic phonics program, in order to boost our work with phonics. We use Sabbath right now, which we are going to continue to keep as kind of our background building piece, but we're going to use this UFly, which has really great results, lots of evidence and research base, and our teachers are excited to work with that. The 4th thing is reading plans. So this act requires that all students who are below the 25th percentile receive a reading plan. We are waiting on guidance from the DPI on this, but feel we're in a good position to implement it based on our ability to use, we have a data warehousing program called EduClimber. So it's got all of our data in there right now, and we feel we could make the reading plans right in there. As soon 2, which I hope is in the next 2 weeks, and we will be off to the races. Okay, so that's the Act 20 update. We are adding this year for 7th and 8th graders, they'll have an enrichment/resource period. And this will be a time for them to participate in enrichment activities. So some of the specialist teachers are available, art, music, band. I'm even running one called Books to Movies. It can also be a structured study hall if students need it. And for our few students that participate in algebra, they will use that as an extra algebra practice time to make sure that their skills are really the best they can be by the end of the year. Character Strong, we'll be starting Character Strong again this year. Teachers and kids really liked it. We're going to start right away, Friday, September 6th. And again, the community will be able to access any part of that they'd like, take a look at it. Last year we had no opt-outs and no issues, so it went really well. And the last piece is just professional development. We've got a lot to go through this year. So FastBridge, our new system, is one big thing we are focusing on. We are also implementing a PLC model, which is known as a professional learning community. And it's where teachers get together and kind of talk about, they look at their results, they look at their curriculum, they decide if there needs to be adjustments based on what's happening in the classroom, and it's really a carved out time for collaboration. Finally, we are going to focus on 3 things throughout the year for our professional development. One is collaboration around the data, one is high leverage teaching practices, and the third is really make sure we're honing in on standards-based instruction and being able to measure that so we make sure the kids are getting the same standards.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Dana. Okay, the Dean of Students report.
Okay, I just wanted to touch base a little bit about the crisis plan that was put out. I attended a full day Train the Trainer event on 8/8/24 at Case High School, which was sponsored by the I Love You Guys Foundation. So it was a free training. There were several other area schools that had staff members that attended. A lot of police were there. And I was trained in both SRP, which is the Standard Response Protocol. That's the common language that our area schools have adopted that you'll see in the crisis plan, like a hold versus a secure versus a lockdown. We're going to move to implement that standard language this year. I also was trained in the Standard Reunification Method, which is SRM. The I Love You Guys Foundation does provide this 4-hour training to schools. They will actually come in and do the training for schools as well. The cost of that is $4,000 to have it done. It's about a half-day training. I reached out to the I Love You Guys Foundation after receiving my Train the Trainer certificate, and they were able to lead me to a mission partner called Kid Account that is actually willing to sponsor that training for our entire staff. So I'm really excited that the whole staff is going to be trained on that. I'm going to do about a 1-hour introduction training during our professional development this fall, towards the end of it, which all staff will be included on, including our special ed aides. And then on our October Professional Development Day, we're going to bring them in-house, and that is open to the board. I'd like to formally invite you guys to join us for that. We'll also be inviting other area schools that have new staff that are coming in that haven't been trained yet. They can come and attend our training at no cost to them. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. I'll be in touch as the details become finalized. We're just trying to move some things around to make that happen right now. I also am working with the officers in the Racine County Sheriff's Department to schedule some additional training for our staff. They have offered to host a Run, Hide, Fight seminar to the staff. And they are also willing to come in and train staff in Stop the Bleed. So I'm just trying trying to finalize some of those training dates. Again, probably looking at that October, maybe into January for those extra trainings that the sheriff's department are willing to come in and do. Mr. Leach also mentioned that we've been in collaboration with the sheriff's department and we've solidified a lot of our security things around the building, such as really small things that we can be doing to help make our building more safe. We're going to be requiring all visitors check in with the Raptor scanning program and get a visitor's badge. Even if you've been here a million times and we know your face, don't be insulted when we ask to scan your ID. It's just part of our new protocol. It's what the sheriff's department's recommending, and we're also going to be requiring that all staff are wearing their badges at all times. So again, even if you're a familiar face, please don't be insulted if we stop you in the hallway and ask for your visitor badges. We are asking all staff to do that this year. Little things like that make a really, really big difference when something is to go, hopefully not. So I wanted to share a little bit about that, and then on a lighter note, I just wanted to point out some of the cool things that Mrs. Rodriguez has been doing. She's been working really hard this summer as our tech integrator. She's got 2 7th grade students who have been here almost every day, Monday through Thursday, helping out, volunteering their time. So I want to give Reese and Brianna a shout out because they have been phenomenal. It's fun to have kids in the building in the summer. It adds a little spark. And they've been really helpful getting tasks done to get the school year up and running smoothly. I don't know if the community is aware that Mrs. Rodriguez went to a program in DC this summer in Washington, DC. She spent 2 weeks through the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum exploring the connections between informal STEAM education and authentic learning. And she was one of 32 teachers in the 2024 cohort. She did a number of hands-on activities and museum tours and behind-the-scene experiences that are really, really once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. These sessions were led by museum educators as well as some alumni of the program. She's actually going to return again next year to continue her learning, but talk about a staff member who comes back from a professional development with just spunk and excitement and ideas. And
You almost have to slow it down a little bit.
yeah, I mean, she's so full of ideas. It's really great. Part of her many initiatives that she's taken this summer is in the Launchpad, which is this space right over here. Bob built a Lego wall up there for kids to use, which is really fun. Of course, the girls that we have in here this summer helped to design the workbench and pegboards, which created also a maker's area, and there's some stored cardboard in there that they can use. They also added a newscasting station. One of mine and Mrs. Rodriguez's goals for announcements this year are to do some live broadcasted announcements with a little newscast, so she's got that kind of set up and running, which I think will be really fun. The makerspace is going to be available for students to use during their library time, but also during Ms. Rodriguez's STEAM class time. So I just wanted to point that out because there's a lot of cool things that are happening there. And then lastly, Mr. Leach already talked a little bit about the new staff coming in tomorrow, but tomorrow is our first big day. We've got 10 new staff members that are coming in along with their mentors tomorrow. So we have a mentor program that we're going to be up and running. During that time tomorrow, they'll be meeting with key staff, including myself and Dana and Donna and then Zoe. They will also meet with their mentors and they'll partake in an in-depth school of the tour. They'll have some time to prepare in their classrooms. They'll be meeting with our insurance representative as well, and then we'll share lunch together. And I just want to reiterate what Mr. Leach said. We've got a good variety of staff coming in. We've got a couple staff that are brand new to education, which I personally find exciting. That's how I found my job at Raymond School, was a brand new educator in 5-6 science. And then we've got some other staff with up to 30 years of experience and a little bit in between. So I'm really looking forward to collaborating with all of them tomorrow and then welcoming the whole staff in on Wednesday.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next, we move on to board member comments.
I really appreciate your updates. I can see the enthusiasm coming forward this year and some new things, and it sounds like it'll be an exciting year. I'm looking forward to participating and getting getting to know everyone and all the teachers and going in on the breakfast on
You
Wednesday.
promised some biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, I
so that's
did.
gonna be-
I did.
He threw that one in, I said, you didn't have to, and he said,
I
okay.
better get some.
So, but I appreciate the updates, those are great, that's really good stuff.
Well, I'd like to recognize this administrative team and all of the hard work. And I've been here many days watching them put things together, and it's been an awesome watch to see what they do behind the scenes. And they have been busy. I'm excited about the safety planning. It's something that we really need here at Raymond. We don't want to be caught short if that would arise, God forbid. So we want everybody trained and ready for that awful possibility. So, but thank you, admin team, you've done well. So, and, okay,
I was gonna go.
Okay.
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 Hope to see everyone on Wednesday. I know Mike and Nicole and myself and probably the admin Tim have been going nuts about the community picnic on Wednesday, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Hope to see a lot of you guys out there and stuff. It has been kind of a whirlwind over the last 3 days, 3 weeks actually, trying to figure this out. Again, thank you to the admin team, seeing your guys' faces, and then also watching my wife's face at home doing the dreaded, I have to go back to work tomorrow. So it's kind of nice seeing the smiling faces and stuff like that. And then my grandson is obviously highly enthused about coming to school, and now he's kind of like, I don't want to go to school. So we'll see how the next 2 weeks go with that. So, but again, thank you everyone, and hope to see everyone on Wednesday.
Okay, with that, we do have our first annual community picnic at Raymond. And we want to thank all of our sponsors and anonymous donors for the event. Taher, who does our food service. I hope I'm going to pronounce this correct. Marchese.
Much easier.
Marchese Produce. Demarest Farm. The Raymond Community Business Organization. Corn Stars, Higgly Wiggly, and the PAC, the Raymond PTO. So it is at 4 to 6 on Wednesday. We will have burgers and hot dogs and corn and games, and bring a chair, and it's free. So come and join us and celebrate our back to school and our special Raymond school.
I think this is what happens when you're in the interview process and you mention a community picnic to the community. They tend to expect that when you've said it. So, accountability is important. Yes.
Okay, and then we move on to our future board meetings. We have our budget hearing and followed by the annual meeting on Thursday, this Thursday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. The board workshop on Monday, September 9th. We've missed the first Monday because of Labor Day, so we moved it to the second, and that's at 5:30. And a regular board meeting for September is Monday, September 16th at 6:30 p.m. And with that, it concludes our business for tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:20. Thank you all.
Let's talk through some of the numbers questions. So, for sure, we're looking at being able to push it out soon here, but Wednesday chat. It's going on Wednesday.